MC, introduce yourself, man.
Hey, what's happening, fellas? I appreciate you guys having me on. I am the MC of the Magic Carpet. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm in Nashville. I'm holding down this magical carpet. I'm keeping it going, keeping it afloat, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
So when we met you, it was the start of the pandemic, and we went down on a trip to Nashville. A lot of the bars and everything was kind of shut down, so we were looking for stuff to do, and we stumbled upon you absolutely freestyle rapping for $1 for anyone who'd pay you, and it was sick. And we just sat there. I mean, we probably sat there for like 20 minutes and listened to you. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
But going off of that, after you were done rapping for $1, fucking doing your shit, man, I thought you had a pretty cool story about like how you got your guitar and your fucking red carpet. So fucking dive into that.
Oh my gosh, you guys are getting me gassed up. I'm like so flattered in real time that you guys even remember that story. Like that's incredible. So obviously pre-apocalypse, I used to take, when I first moved down to Nashville, Tennessee, going on now 9 years ago, I used to take the bus from the Hickory Hollow Mall to downtown Antioch to go to work. And this was like, they called it the 55 is the bus I used to take for any Nashvillians that want to fact check me on this thing. But I used to take the bus every day to go downtown to go to work. And this particular day I was waiting, I waited tables downtown, which is like what a lot of starving artists do. And this particular day I got downtown early, and there was this guy strumming this like crazy looking acrylic painted guitar standing on this red carpet, and he had a little sign, like a cardboard sign, that said Music City Magic Carpet. So I threw him $1. I went to work that day. I got out of work. I got back on the bus, and this dude was taking the money he had made that day and paying for everybody's bus ride, which like blew me away. And so I got off the bus early to talk to this guy, and he basically set down this guitar, set down this carpet, and like Denzel Washington walking away from explosions, like just walked away from me. And I'm like, hey man, you want your stuff? And he just keeps walking, like cool guys don't look at explosions, And so I wait like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, then the bus stops running, and then finally I had to call a cab because I had just moved down to the city, so I had no idea where I was or like just like this is on some whim stuff. And this cabbie, he picked me up, and he was asking me like, "Hey, do you want your stuff?" And I was like, "No, that's not my stuff." Hey, to be real, I could barely understand him. He said he'd been down to Nashville for like 15 years, but he sounded like he just got off the boat. And anyways, so I took this guitar and carpet back to my apartment, and so then I started riding the bus with it every day, like looking for this guy who gave it to me. And I never saw him again, but after like 3 months of walking around with this dirty magic carpet, this bum rug, and this guitar, this guy Ron D, the referee of the Music City Soul, which in my opinion is like a Nashville legend. He's been on the Kelly Pickler show. He's met Cool Herc, who is the innovator of what we now know as modern hip hop. And Ron D, the referee, saw me walking with this guitar, and he came up to me. He's like, "Where'd you get that guitar?" And I was like, "Oh, did you meet him? Did you see him?" And he was like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." So I was like, "Oh, bummer." And then he's like, "Well, do you play?" And I was like, No, I don't play really. And he's like, "Well, play me something." So I started playing a little bit. And then he's like, "No, stand on the carpet when you do it." And so I started standing on the carpet. And then he's like, "Do you sing?" And I was like, "I rap." And then he was like, "Rap something for me." And he was like, he told me, he was like, "Dude, you're cold-blooded with it. You got to keep doing it." And so that was it. That was about, I want to say almost 8 years ago now. And me getting this piece of carpet and this guitar at this bus stop changed my life, and it's led to, me paying off my car. I know it's weird to be talking to a professional rapper, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the story. I'm sticking to it.
So, did you move to Nashville with like any dreams or aspirations of becoming a singer or rapper, or did this kind of just like fall into your hands?
Man, I'll tell you what. If you ever seen the movie Step Brothers,
Yeah.
they have that where he's like, I always wanted to be a dinosaur, but I practiced medicine for a while, and then he lost his dinosaur. Man, I really lost my dinosaur when I moved down to Nashville. I moved down to Nashville with the intention of just a lot of people. I just wanted to get away from my boring-ass hometown, you know? So I moved down to Nashville. I'd always played music at my hometown and stuff, but moving down to Nashville was my first time living on my own. And I took a Greyhound bus down to Nashville with $300, and I knew nobody. And so getting caught up in living on your own for the first time and paying bills, I put music and all that stuff on the back burner. Like, I barely played guitar, and I stopped singing and rap, and I stopped doing all that stuff. And so that's kind of the craziness of how this happened, because I kind of started playing guitar again, just riding the bus with this guitar because I had it in my hand. So I go, well, fuck it, I'll just, practice my scales or something. And then, yeah. So no, I didn't really have aspirations to make it into music. I kind of, that was something that was a dream of mine that I didn't have anymore.
So you're out there on the streets grinding day and night, working the streets. What does your family and friends from back home seem to think about you out on the streets doing your thing?
I mean, they probably think I'm a bum or something.
Oh, we saw your bucket. We know you're not a bum. That bucket was up to the brim, son.
I spent all that on meth that night. That's the behind the scenes you don't see. And then I take that entire bucket and I'm like, hey man, where do I get some ice around this place?
That's why they call it the magic carpet.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So,
people say, I didn't expect to get wet. Yeah, but no, my friends and family. Well, I will say that at first, my parents are pretty old school, and they would rather me have at first I think they would rather me have a real job.
A real job.
Yeah, a real job, air quotes. Yeah, and then, and I will be honest, this is an asterisk. I didn't make money like that right away. Like, dude, I sat out there and did trial and error to get it right for a really long time. And at first my focus was just finding this guy and giving his shit back to him. You know, he's probably face down in a ditch somewhere. But that was my first focus with everything. And then, then following that, I decided I wanted to make money, but it took a really long time to develop a system for where I could make money. Because for a long time, it's incredible that you guys listen to me for even 20 minutes, because I couldn't even get people to stop and listen to me for like 5 seconds unless they were asking for directions somewhere. So
I think it's crazy that you actually somewhat freestyle rap. Like, you can just give you a topic and something, you can just roll. Like, how does your mind work like that? Do you have a preset things that you kind of roll into? Do you just practice on rhyming words? How does someone go to get to the skill level you are at a rapping level?
Well, to say obsessive with rhyming is like an understatement. I used to be obsessed with, when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with Where the Sidewalk Ends, and they're books by Shel Silverstein. So I used to memorize poetry all the time. I loved poetry and rhyming and stuff. And I've been rapping and rhyming since I was a little kid. But when I started taking it to a new level in terms of, like, I've transcribed rhyming dictionaries and stuff like that. Like, I have my own personal rhyming dictionary that's a rhyming dictionary that I've written off of from a different one. But I really think that just like anything else, just like learning your scales on the guitar or learning any skill, repetition is the mother of skill. And so when people hear me, a lot of times they'll undermine all the hard work I put in by saying, oh, you're talented. Like, one day I just woke up and did this. And it's not like that at all. Like, I've actually, if you knew how many times I've said some of the things you've heard, or how many times I've actually rhymed before, it becomes second nature, So it's taken a lot of work to get to where I was, because I was not good at one point in time. And I still don't think I'm good compared to a lot of people. There's a lot of people better than I am.
And piggybacking off of that, like, before we started recording, man, how we're, kind of hyping ourselves up, like, I can totally relate to you by, the money that I put into this podcast equipment and shit. It's like, people ask me, why am I doing it? And it's, something that I love, and probably the same thing with you, like 8 years in, man, like fucking grinding it out. And people, your parents, for an example, like go get a real job. Well, I don't enjoy a real job, mom and dad. Like I want to fucking be playing on this corner, with rapping for $1 and shit,
He's playing a tin roof, baby.
Yeah, he is.
He's getting off the corner.
Yeah.
My man's making
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I take that back. You're fucking.
Let's get it.
You're
Don't
fucking
downplay
getting it. Yeah.
MC and the magic carpet.
That's right. Yeah, I'm trying to get on Sway, to be real with you. Hopefully Sway or Funk Flex hears this interview.
That'd be cool.
But no. Well, I'll tell you what, man. It's just like anything else. I don't think you get anywhere in life by doing something motivated by money. I think you're motivated by you love something, and then the money comes secondary. And so, like, I really just did it because I liked it so much. I don't think you can put that much time into something without loving it,
Yeah, for sure.
So I definitely, and if you knew, obviously my business is in the green right now because I've made more than I've spent, but if you knew how much money I've spent and put into all this stuff and how much work I've put into it, it should be encouraging to you with the podcast and spending the money on the equipment, and that's why you can't stop doing it. Because Mark Twain says that there's 2 important days in somebody's life: the day they're born and the day they realize why. And it took me a couple years, but when I saw Wu-Tang Clan at the Ryman in Nashville, and it shook me to the core, and that was when I realized why I was doing what I was doing. And now, for me, it's like it's my purpose. It's bigger than money or a hobby or something like that. It's what I was put on the earth to do.
Wu-Tang Clan, man. Someone told me they're nothing to fuck with.
They're not. They're nothing to fuck with. You really want to protect your neck when you're around those guys.
One thing I want to say, you were talking about Sway. Just remember, MC, you got to be prepared because you go there, you must have bars. Like, you must.
Oh, yeah. The hyenas will eat you alive if you're not prepared for Sway.
So,
Bro, I'm so premeditated with this shit. I've been practicing for Sway for the last 8 years, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go into the Terror Dome.
So going off the whole rap thing with your whole gig and what you do, this may have been more so before you were getting more like notoriety around the strip there and everything down Broadway. But when you were like really first started actually going at it, like on the corner, doing your thing, figuring out what you're going to do, how often did everyone just assume you're a country singer being in Nashville on a street corner? I feel like that had to happen a lot right away.
Yeah. That's a funny question because my mentor, Rondi, the referee, I told him that when I first started doing it. I said, man, there's so much country down here. How do you make it in hip hop with all the country down here? And he said, you should be happy you do hip hop in Nashville. That's called job security.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, you got a million country singers.
That was the realest thing anyone ever said to me. Exactly. So I'm like, for me, being an MC who plays the guitar and raps, I feel like I'm in a lane of my own because it's a rarity to see something like that, especially doing it at the same time and doing it well. And down here, if you're a country singer, a singer-songwriter, you're like a dime a dozen down here,
Oh, yeah.
So, have you ever heard of Jelly Roll?
Yeah, Jelly Roll's big in the Nashville area, yeah.
Yes.
Jelly Roll, I met his photographer. I met a guy who did photography for him. I never met Jelly Roll, but I met his photographer. That's my claim to fame with Jelly Roll.
So I was listening to a podcast he was on. It was called Bussin' with the Boys. One of the guys is actually a Tennessee Titans football player. I don't know if Taylor Lewan, you ever heard of him?
Yeah, Taylor Lewan went to Michigan.
Yeah. So he was
Go
on.
Blue.
He was on his podcast, and he was talking about the Nashville like music industry and like how much these record labels like fuck the artists and stuff like that. Like, do you have any dreams of being signed by a label, or like you trying to stay independent and keep all that money?
Obviously I'm open to anything, and I think it's hard to see more than like, I have a goal of where I'm trying to get to, but it's hard to see it, right? Or it's hard to see how I get there. I'll tell you what, when I was in my hometown in Michigan, I used to think people would blow smoke up my ass, saying, "Oh man, I'm a manager. I can make you big, kid." Like that kind of talk, like sit down in my office thing. I used to think that was big then, but you come down to Nashville, and everybody down here is some fake ass A&R who works for Sony or works for Universal and stuff. So I have yet to experience like the actual like actually talking to somebody who's legitimate when it comes to that stuff. But in terms of like a future goal, you know, I'm not biased either way. In terms of like, I could be independent and be like Chance the Rapper, or like a Macklemore or something like that, who's done it all in house. But you know, being Kendrick doesn't sound bad either. Being Lil Dicky doesn't sound bad. So I really just think I'm more motivated by the best way to get my stuff out there and make an impact on this thing I love called hip hop.
Yeah. So on a different note here, when we were down in Nashville on Broadway, we saw some pretty wild shit. And I think we were there for 2 days. We saw some homeless people fighting with bird scooters. I was curious if you got any crazy ass story. You've been down there for what, 8 years on the Strip?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What is some crazy ass shit you've seen on the Strip?
Oh my gosh. Well, dude, it's kind of funny because all the bums are like my coworkers in a way.
I don't think these were your coworkers that we saw.
I've got the weirdest group of coworkers. I have a relationship with some of these people because they're like reoccurring characters in my life. So I'm seeing like guys I know that I've known for years do crazy shit. But to be honest, a lot of the crazy shit I've seen is like from the tourists. Because here's the thing: is like I'm numb to the downtown Nashville thing, where it's like there are people who like you guys come down to Nashville and you're not even just drunk from the booze, you're drunk on this thing called Nashville, you know, where it's like the whole like the adventure of being some different place and being on vacation. And so I've seen the local panhandlers, bums, hobos. I don't know the politically correct term for it. But my coworkers have done some crazy shit, but I've seen some people visiting that have done some crazy shit. Like, can I tell a story?
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Oh, okay, so this one time I got them playing, and this couple came up, and they're like, "Hey, do you know where we can get any food around here?" And I was like, "No, I don't. Well, not in here." I was like, "You'd have to get outside of the city." And they're like, "Do you drive Uber?" And I go, "Well, I'll drive you. If you got cash on you, I'll drive you to wherever you want to go." This guy pulls out a $50 bill, and I was like, "Dude, we can go as far as you like, man. This is the DeLorean, bro. I'll take you back to the future." It was $50. So I'm driving around, and this girl gets on this guy's lap, and they're like making out in the front seat and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, trying to take them to a cookout outside of the city, you know, and I'm just like, you know, they were going to buy my food too, so I'm happy. And I was like, "Oh, so what brings you guys down here?" And the guy goes, "Oh, I'm here for a bachelor party." And I go, "Oh, who's getting married?" He's like, "My buddy Tim," or we'll fill in the blank, you know. And then I asked the girl who's sitting on his lap, I'm like, "What are you down here for?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm here for a bachelorette party." And this guy says he's from Arkansas, and the girl's from Mississippi or something like that. And so she's sitting on his lap, and they're making out and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Man, what a dream," you know? And so I asked the guy. He said he's marrying Tim. I said, "So who's getting married in your bachelorette party?" She said, "I'm getting married."
That's just a day in the life of an Uber driver, man.
Oh my God, taxi cab confessional. So I'm like, dude, hopefully they're not listening to this. Her husband's gonna be fucking pissed. God damn it, Kayla! I knew you were up to something in Nashville.
There's going to be a bunch of people from that state listening right now going, "Oh shit, that could be my wife. She went to Nashville for a bachelorette party."
I also like the cookout shout out. Best food you can get for $6.
Oh man, cookout is the greatest food ever. I'll tell you what. As long as they hear this, fuck McDonald's, fuck Burger King. Cookout's where it's at. I want to get sponsorship.
Get sponsored. Cookout sponsors.
What's your overall goal? To get sponsored by Cookout. That'd be the dream. I'll do gigs all across the world at Cookout.
That's what I know. I've made it.
Dude, that's what you should do is get sponsorships for your carpet that you stand on.
Yeah,
that'd be
cool.
genius.
Sell out the carpet.
Dude, funny you say that. There's a guy that does custom-made rugs in Nashville, and he's trying to fix up my carpet. But people don't understand, like, dude, I realize it's just a dirty bum rug, and who knows what he was doing with it, probably pissing on it, smoking crack on it or whatever. But for me, it's so sentimental, like, where I don't trust anybody. Like, this guy works on rugs, and he's like, dude, I can, because it's falling apart and stuff, and he's like, oh, man, I can fix it up, and I'm just like, I'm so weary of people working on it because I'm just like, you know, because I've been carrying around this piece of carpet for, like, 8 years. I don't trust anyone with it. I'm like, dude, you could steal my car, have my house. I'm like, I need this guitar and carpet. You don't know what this means to me. So.
MC, most people in Nashville know drug dealers, but you know rug dealers.
Yo, dude, I thought I had bars. I like you, dude. I got ghostwriters now, man.
So when you go perform on like an actual stage, you bring the carpet as well?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I don't go anywhere without it, dude. That's good luck, dude. I'm not even hip-hop without that thing.
You ever frozen on stage? I know you practice all your bars. You ever frozen?
No. I've actually been, when I played with these guys and stuff like that, the first couple gigs we did, I had imposter syndrome because I'm like, here's this guy that's been on Jimmy Kimmel 3 times. Here's the drummer for Florida Georgia Line. This guy plays bass for some other country star I've never heard of. And, but they're all like legitimate musicians. And then I'm the guy who raps for $1 on the sidewalk. So I was really, I felt that way at first, but then after we'd done a couple of gigs, we started building the show around doing the improv and doing the freestyles and the magic carpet and stuff. So, but no, I've never gotten nervous like that because even previous to me getting gifted the magic carpet and my guitar Trigga, even previous to that, I've performed my entire life, and so obviously I still get the same anxiety playing on the stage as I do setting up downtown, where I get little butterflies and stuff, but I love that feeling.
So what's the crowd atmosphere like the first time you go up to, let's say, a tin roof? Like, obviously on the street, you just got people walking by and, hoping that they stop and give you money and rap for you and whatever. But like the tin roof atmosphere, like obviously they're going there to have a good time and like listen to a live band. So like, do you prepare differently for that at all?
Yeah, I got asked to do this gig by my buddy Marcelo, and he was just wanted to do, because everybody does cover songs. And so he goes, oh, he's Brazilian. Oh, send me your list or whatever. That was a terrible Brazilian accent, but he said, send me your list. And so I sent him this list, and he's like, wow, it's like 60% hip-hop and R&B songs. Oh, yeah, dude, that's all I know how to play. And so there, I kind of have to pick and choose my spots when I can get my bars in and stuff because, you have to play covers. So that's different about it. Another thing, too, is the energy at a bar is different because out on the sidewalk, you have to prove to people you're worth the shit because the free market really happens instantly. If people don't like you, they're just going to walk away. They don't have to close out a tab. They didn't wait in line to get in here. They didn't get carded. They don't have to wait for Becky to get done throwing up in the bathroom or whatever. They're there and they can walk away willingly. So when you get a crowd around on the street, it's organic and they're there for you. And, in the Nashville, it's so competitive they have other options. Whereas the tin roof is a little different because when you're playing on a stage like that, people know that you've already kind of been legitimized by the fact that you wouldn't be up there unless the bar, did a quality control with you and stuff like that. So there's two different things, but I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
So I was going to say the second tin roof gig, some chick showed her boobs, and I was like,
all right, yeah, dude. Gridiron Garage loves boobs.
There you go.
I know, dude. I couldn't grab a Sharpie marker fast enough.
That's how you know you made it when you're getting boobs splashed at you.
Man, I was thinking of cookout, man. Boobs. That's real success.
So I got a question. You obviously have a mind full of not only rhymes, but you probably different rhythm styles. You've probably heard a million songs, whether it be rap or not. I'd gander to think that most of them are rap songs. But I've asked my friends this before. People have asked me this, and it's going to be a really hard question to answer for you. I know it is. But if you had to listen to one rap song for the rest of your life, what song would it be? For me, right, thinking about it, I think my favorite rap song ever is probably Money Trees by Kendrick. And it's not, I don't think it's the best rap song ever, but I know like every word, and I just love that song. So if you had to pick one, rest of your life, to the day you die, what song would be the only rap song you'd be allowed to listen to?
Holy cow, that is a great question.
It's going to be tough.
Well, and Money Trees is a fantastic song, too. Dude, one rap song the rest of my life.
It's tough. It's definitely Dolce & Gabbana by Riff Raff, right?
No, hey man, give Riff Raff credit though.
No,
Riff Raff he's got bars, dude. Riff Raff can freestyle like a motherfucker.
I'm a Riff Raff stan, so yeah, I'm all in on the Riff Raff, but yeah.
So
Eddie's hip hop, man. He's contributed, but one song. Initially, I want to say Cream because I'm such a Wu-Tang Clan fan. But when I think about like a song, if I had to listen to it for the rest of my life, I would want it to be something uplifting. Not saying Cream isn't, but maybe like Never Let Me Down by Kanye West or Bring Me Down by Kanye West. One of those songs because they're really introspective and I feel like they're motivational. And so they're the type of songs where I could listen to it and I could, no matter what I was going through it'd almost be like your favorite church song or something like that.
Is that old Kanye? This is old Kanye, right?
Yeah, this is old Kanye. This is like College Dropout and Late Registration. He's got this one line in this song, Bring Me Down, featuring Brandy. I think that's the name of the song. He said, I made a mill myself, and I'm still myself, and I'm going to look in the mirror if I need some help. And I always thought that was like the hardest bar ever because, Kanye says this in interviews where he says people are fans of his music, aren't fans of him, they're fans of themselves. And Kanye definitely like a huge influence on me for sure.
So do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah, for sure I know Joe Rogan.
Dude, some people don't.
I didn't like the Kanye interview with Joe Rogan.
That's what I was going to ask you about is, obviously I know Kanye's music, but I don't know him personally. But, dude, he sounded like he needed some, like, serious mental help on that podcast.
Man, he could have got the mental help from Joe Rogan if Joe Rogan would have actually like he was hosting a podcast. I was excited about that podcast because I respect Joe Rogan and I love Kanye. So sometimes Kanye has this thing of just like, hopefully I'm not doing that right now, but like he takes over interviews and I want the interviewer to interject. But I was listening to the Joe Rogan and Kanye West podcast for Joe Rogan and Kanye West. I've already heard Kanye, every interview Kanye has ever done. I wanted to hear Joe ask him questions. And Joe just let him hijack the interview. I seriously feel like the first 45 minutes was just like Kanye talking. And I'm like, bro, I could have got this from any Kanye West. Come on, Joe. Like, step up, man.
Dude.
Ask a question. But you just let him go. And I'm just like, oh, man. But maybe that's what the people wanted. I don't know.
I don't know. I agree. That was a waste of 3 hours of my life.
Anyways, Griff, I thought for sure you were asking him if he ate himself, if he disappeared completely.
Oh, yeah.
or
So,
something.
I got another question. I got another question. So, this is off the wall, but hypothetically, if you could eat yourself, would you disappear completely or double in size?
Me and Zach were looking at each other like he's fucking doing it again. This guy.
Dude, there's an Eric Carle book about that. It's about this snake that eats everything, and it's like a kid's book. I just remember it, but I can't remember the ending now. Fuck, did he disappear or double in size?
So I
would never get that.
I think it's a trick question. I think you would stay the same because you can't really create or destroy mass. I think you'd just be a blob of blubbery blood. The same exact mass.
Anyways, moving on.
Hold on. MC. Griff is known for two things. 1, very long-winded questions, and 2, asking that fucking question.
Anyways,
Come on, Griff.
MC.
Let's do it, man.
Do you have any actual like singles that you've released?
Well, yeah, I've got 2. So
Plug them.
One of them's called "I Will Rap for $1," which was because I'm starting to release music now because I can only save up music for so long before I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta get this shit out here.
For sure.
So, so the first one I released was "I Will Rap for $1" because I thought it was because that's my sign that I used in downtown Nashville. So I thought it was a good transition to get people from like just knowing me as like freestyle rapping guy on the sidewalk to like an actual artist. And so, that one's available, but this new one I just released, it's called Needle Drop, and it's like, I feel really proud of it. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I have check out, shameless self-plug right here. Check out Needle Drop. It's now available on Apple Music, Spotify, and you can also check out MCTV on YouTube or IGTV by going to MC and the Magic Carpet. That's at MC and the Magic Carpet. So there's my shameless plug.
Shameless plug. It'll be in the bio. Don't worry.
Yeah, make sure to check out Gridiron Garage. See the greatest podcast I've ever been a part of.
Also, I have another question. This is something that we talked about when we were down with you. Has anyone stolen your tip bucket lately?
Bro, wait, did I tell you guys that someone stole it?
Yeah, because we asked why it was like locked to a cinder block or something.
You had like bike chain to a cinder block.
Oh my god, dude, that's so funny. Yeah, I still bike chain to a cinder block.
Has it worked?
No one's tried it. I want somebody to try it now.
You can chase them down easier.
Dude, yeah, I just want to see how my security system's holding up.
Dude, one of my favorite stories about fake money and shit, I think you have it on your Instagram on a highlight, but how somebody or people like ask you to make change out of your bucket and they give you counterfeit money and then it fucks you over.
Dude, what a bunch of rascals, man. I told myself I wasn't going to swear on this podcast, but rascals, dude. Well, so there's all sorts of shenanigans that happen with being a street performer, and one of them being that, my bucket's gotten stolen before. And the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the Titans that weekend, and I'm saying, like, that was a big bucket. That was an expensive lesson to learn. Let's put it that way. But also, when it comes to fake money, there's a bunch of rascals that they'll come up to you and they'll like say, "Hey man, do you make change?" And previous to being savvy with it, I would just go, "Oh yeah, man, I'll make you some change," and I would not look it over. And then all of a sudden I'd be counting the money the next day or counting the money later that night, and I'd find some like fake $20 bill or, it's only been 20s. Thank God it wasn't 50s. But yeah, dude, they're little con artists, which is not, I just want to reiterate this. If there's any kids listening out there, fake money is not a skill. You can't there's a ceiling on how good you can get at doing that. Like, it's such a lame thing. And it's like, it's annoying too because, I've developed this whole system for doing my thing, and these guys literally just get a bunch of fake money and just make change at hot dog vendors and stuff.
And it's also illegal too, I'm pretty sure, like using counterfeit money.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst. And the thing is they get over on that with me, but they try that with the wrong person and they're going to get stomped out. And so it's a real bummer when people do stuff like that, but that's only happened like 3 or 4 times. And now I'm good at it because I can tell with the way they're holding the money and the way they're asking. I'm like, oh, I smell counterfeit. I don't need a pen or flashlight or anything. I'm just like, yep, this guy's trying to put out counterfeit money on me. I can Spidey sense is tingling,
So then I have another question about rap real quick. So who's like your favorite like lyricist? It could be ever, it could be right now. I mean, there's a lot of great lyricists in the rap industry. I know a lot of people point to Logic all the time, but I'm curious like who your favorite like lyricist is, whether they're just the best lyrics, whether it's how they rap or whatever it may be.
Man, I'm going to shout out a bunch of people for my Nardwar interview that I'm going to do one day. So personal favorite is Kanye West for me personally. Now, when I say Kanye West is my favorite, he's not my favorite because in terms of lyricism, he's like really complex or anything. It's what he says with his lyrics. And so a lot of people, get caught up on saying like somebody like Twista or somebody who raps fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this isn't a knock on Logic because I fuck with Logic too. Like Bobby Tarantino, I fuck with it. Like I respect all hip hop artists. But sometimes people equate being able to rap fast with being good at rapping, and then when you really look at it, they're not saying anything. So like, but you know, I love Kanye West for content, but in terms of like, you know, obviously, I grew up listening to Eminem too, and so it's hard to take anything. Eminem's an amazing storyteller, and not only that, is when it comes to lyricism, like no one can touch his pen. He is so cold-blooded with the puns, with the storytelling, with everything. Especially like, yeah, just older Eminem stuff. I mean, newer Eminem stuff too. I mean, he's dope. I really love.
I think Alfred's theme on his new album is pretty dope. I like that song.
Wait, that's on Music to Get Murdered By?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he got a bunch of credit for that Godzilla song for how fast he raps, correct?
Yeah, he did. That was like where we like just it was basically fast talking.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Eminem's dope. Kanye West is dope. I mean, I even like new people. I love Kendrick. I think Kendrick's amazing. But I think you know, I'm just impressed by different. I like hip hop a lot. Sometimes I listen to hip hop for different reasons. I'll listen to conscious stuff depending on the mood, but sometimes I'll listen to Freddie Gibbs just to pretend like I'm selling crack cocaine or something like that. You know? I like trap stuff too. I like it all for different reasons. It's an escape, and it's a real special escape.
Oh yeah, so, I'm a big 2 Chainz guy.
So 2 Chainz is fucking dope too.
Titty boy.
Yeah.
You mentioned Little Dicky earlier, and we can't help but notice when we watch your gigs and bits is that you like to throw comedy into your raps as well. Is that something that you like really like to do and you want to do with your singles, or is that just something you do when you're street performing and you're trying to roast some people and make some money?
No, you know, I love Lil Dicky. Lil Dicky's killing it right now, and I feel like I have a different lane than Lil Dicky, but a lot of people, you know, Lil Dicky isn't the first one to do like that sort of thing. Everything comes from something else. You know, even going back to the early 90s, 2 Live Crew shit is funny as fuck. Listening to like the 36 Chambers album by Wu-Tang, there's really funny parts in that. And Method Man's hilarious. And so like, and same with like old Eminem stuff.
Yeah, Eminem, like when he was Slim Shady.
Yeah. Kanye West says hilarious stuff, and if you listen to like the College Dropout or Late Registration, it's funny. And so like for me, it's not like even just boxing myself in. Like, yes, do I like using comedy? Of course, like comedy is a great tool for anything when it comes to getting a message across. But I would never box myself into like I'm trying to be like a comedic rapper, because I think that there's people in that lane that are much better at it than I am, and I think Lil Dicky is a perfect example of that, where Lil Dicky is, but then again, Lil Dicky's not just funny, he also has deep introspective stuff too, so I don't like boxes, you know, but
I get what you're saying when you say you box yourself in, because a lot of people, when you think of a Lil Dicky or what's the country singer that does it? I'm talking about
Wheeler Walker Jr.
Wheeler Walker Jr. Like, it's hard for people to take them serious when they want to drop a real, like a hard shit. It's like, oh, that's just the comedy rapper, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, Eminem being a perfect example. When Eminem came out, the first single was "Hi, my name is," "What my name is," and it was just this like rapidy rap, just like kind of funny, lighthearted song. And then going from that to like Stan and the stuff on the Marshall Mathers LP, you realize there's more depth to somebody than just surface level stuff. And so My Name is like really funny and comical, and Eminem was this kind of like jokey rapper. And then all of a sudden you listen to The Way I Am or like, you know, other stuff, and you're like, wow, this guy's actually deep and he has a story to tell beyond that. And so for me, anything that would get people to listen to my stuff, and more than anything, to get people to listen to the people who inspired me, because I can't take credit for this thing. Like, I didn't make hip hop. I'm inspired by all the people that did it before me. And so I would hope that if people heard stuff that I do, they would maybe, they would look at the thing, my style and where I get my stuff from, and maybe it would inspire them to listen to some late 80s, early 90s hip hop, the stuff I grew up on.
Yeah, and then so almost like to bring it around full circle before we end it off. So you're talking about Lil Dicky. He's basically like everything you were talking about. And we were talking about at the start of this, where his whole story is cool. How he got into rapping, because he like got a degree from some really good school. He was like really smart, and he worked.
Richmond,
yeah, and he worked for the NBA. He was like I think in their analytics or data or something with statistics in their department, and he was making like a ton of money doing it as like a 22-year-old or whatever. But he was just like, yeah, this isn't me. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, like, I'm making really good money. I could just sit there and do this the rest of my life. But I wanted to try something. And he started doing comedy, I think it was originally, and he just started doing raps in his comedy shows. And then it ended up taking off, and he found out this is like something he really, 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 really liked. Have you heard his freestyle? It's like Russell Westbrook on a farm, because he talks about the whole thing. It's like a really awesome song. And he just talks about his whole life, like how he started doing, staying the course, and then found him through rap music, which is really, really cool.
Russell Westbrook on a Farm is an incredible track, and album artwork for it is so dope too. Like,
and the beat's hilarious. Cool, so it's like the pound cake beat.
Yeah, exactly. And Lil Dicky is like a huge, like, he's a huge fan of it too. So yes. And honestly, have you guys seen the show Dave?
I haven't watched it. I need to watch it. I heard it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious.
I need to watch it still.
Yeah, and like you get like episode 4 into Dave, and you realize like, dude, there's a lot more depth to, it's really easy to look at a surface level and just be like, oh, Lil Dicky's like, he's just a funny guy, and this is just a gimmick. But you can never take away, really from anybody, you can never take away the fact that yes, they might use a gimmick to get where they are, but you have to respect it, because behind the gimmick, they're still really dope, really talented people. I feel the same way about, I'm a hater mostly, but like for a long time, I would say like Cardi B's thing is a gimmick, but Cardi B is like one of the largest hip hop acts in the last 5 years. And so you can't take anything away from her. Same with like Megan Thee Stallion. When I saw her, I go, oh, she's just a poor man's Nicki Minaj. Megan Thee Stallion is a very, very wealthy man's Nicki Minaj. Like, she is dope. And so whether it's Lil Dicky with the comedy stuff, or Cardi B with her personality, or Nicki Minaj with her beautiful, beautiful fat ass, regardless, behind gimmicks, it's all somebody who is really talented and really motivated. And, I feel like they've all contributed to this thing I love called hip hop. And so like they're all dope in their own right, and you really can't take away anything. DaBaby actually used to wear a diaper.
Like when he rapped?
DaBaby did South by Southwest in a diaper. Like, he used to wear an adult diaper. And now look at him. Now DaBaby's killing it right now, and he's dope. And so people could, at the surface, they could be like, oh, yeah, this dude's wearing a diaper. Bro, he's just wearing the diaper to get you to listen to how dope he is. Because, like, most people, let's put it this way, they go to the store with the fanciest, brightest sign.
Right. Question for you. Well, I have a couple questions before we... Who
am I talking to?
This is Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's going on, man? So, do you think that... Or who do you think can rap faster, Busta Rhymes or Griffin Wyman over here? Because Griff can talk fucking
Griffin,
1,000.
You're holding out on us?
No, he just talks fast as shit.
Oh, I got no bars.
Dude, you guys were talking about the dude with the Guinness Book of World Records in another podcast I was listening
with the video,
to.
Yeah.
Man, I was listening to that. I actually had to YouTube it afterwards. I was like, dude, if this guy was Lyman, he'd break every record.
What guy are you talking about?
The dude that was like talking, he's like, he was just like, says everything super fast. He sang Michael Jackson Bad in like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, that dude's wild.
Yeah, you guys were saying he used to do things at the end of drug commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because they're always trying to hide all the shit that's in those drugs. But yeah, Griffin probably.
Yeah.
But I love Busted.
I can see Griffin too.
Hell yeah.
So this is kind of a long-winded question after I just made fun of Griff. But so a lot of people make fun of me for like watching podcasts because I like the way that the host like conducts the interview and the other people in there. And I feel like podcasting is more of a skill that you kind of have to groom. The three of us, we always get into about like talking over each other, but I got to remind them like nobody wants to listen to three people fucking yelling at each other on a podcast. But do you think that like listening to music, you pick up on things like that? Like people who like an Eminem or Kanye West, like do you listen to the music for just the music, or do you like study the way that they interact with crowds and like how they write music and stuff like that?
Wow. That's a great question. Well, now I'm feeling self-conscious because I'm like, dude, am I talking over people? I hope I'm not talking too much.
No, you're not.
It's impossible anyway when you're on the phone call.
Dude, phone interviews are hard as shit, so.
Dude, I appreciate y'all bearing with me. No, well, to be honest, like when it comes to, it's just what you're listening for. When it comes to hip-hop, aside from me listening, I know a lot of people get drawn in by the beat and the way the music makes them feel. Before, I've talked to a lot of people that listen to the beat and the instrumental first and then lyrics second. But me being a lyricist and an MC, I always listen to the lyrics first. And so when I listen to pretty much any hip-hop artist, and I'll listen to anything and everything because I'm trying to study and figure out what works, what I like about people, what I don't like about people. But when I listen to any hip-hop artist, I'm always listening lyrics first because I'm an MC. So it'd be the same way as like a bass guitar player is going to listen to the bass line in the song, or the lead guitar player is going to listen to the lead part, and so on and so forth. So I definitely listen to lyrics first.
Hell yeah. So last question, we'll get you out of here. I think the boys are all good with questions, but so you've been in this business for 9 years now, man. Where are you at now, and where do you think you're going? You think that you're finally starting to hit that crest of going uphill?
To the moon.
Quicker? You sending this shit, to the moon, MC?
Earlier he said we're investing in Bitcoin, so you're investing in Dogecoin in us. We're Dogecoin, you're Bitcoin.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give probably one of my longest answers ever, but I got the mic right now. So
go ahead, man.
I'm a firm believer that anyone can do anything they put their mind to. I moved down to Nashville, Tennessee with $300 in a suitcase, and I was able to pay off my Honda Accord rapping. I was able to get a mortgage on my house rapping. I was able to get to where I am now by playing the guitar on a magical piece of carpet on the sidewalk of Nashville. And so I see people a lot of times, I've seen a video of a blind kid taught himself to roller skate, and he taught himself echolocation, so he's just making this clicking sound, and he uses it to steer. And when I think about the fact that I moved down here with $300 in a suitcase and I am where I am now, and I'm not even close to done, but I am where I am now, and then I see a YouTube video of a blind kid roller skating, or a kid with no arms at 6 years old scrambling eggs with his feet, I think, what's your fucking excuse? This world, there's two people in this world, and it's winners and losers. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's winners and losers. And I'm trying to be a winner. And so when I think about where I see myself going and where I want to be, I have so many big aspirations and so many things that I want to check off. And this, first of all, I want to find the guy who gave me this fucking carpet and guitar. That would be really important to me. But beyond that, Tupac talked about at one point in time, he felt like he started pushing the right buttons and things started happening for him. And I feel like I've been sowing seeds for so long that I'm finally reaping what I sow. And I feel like I'm pushing the right buttons, as Pac would say. So in terms of where I see myself going, I want it all, man. I want it all. I want to meet Kid Cudi. I want to meet Kanye West. I want to meet my heroes. I want to put a specific impact on this thing I love called hip hop, and I already think I'm the best MC on a guitar, and I'm just waiting for the world to realize it. So how's that for
That's what I'm talking about.
Dude, in 5 years, when you're a mega superstar, you're gonna get hit by a lawsuit with some dude saying that was my fucking carpet in my gig.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen.
So 5 years from now, you guys are gonna be like, MC in the Magic Carpet, we did a podcast with you. And I'm gonna be like, security!
Yeah. I just want to say, because I'm such a nice guy. Because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to let you use the rug dealer line without any residuals. So,
Appreciate y'all, man. Dude, honestly, I have never been interviewed before like this, and I've never done a podcast before, and I can't even tell you, my face hurts from smiling. You guys are incredible. This is like, I can't believe earlier this afternoon I was like, man, should I do this? Should I not do this? And now, having done it, like, this is incredible. You guys have got to keep doing it because you guys are excellent. I mean, I'm so happy I did this, and I wouldn't have picked a better first interview or first podcast. I mean, aside from, all the other major interviews. No, I'm just kidding, but really, this has been incredible. So you guys have to keep going. And anybody out there still listening to this shit, man, subscribe to the Gridiron Garage, man. Go on Instagram. Get on that shit. I'm not the only person that's got Bitcoin selling for cheap over here. This podcast is going to blow up too. So I just really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk.
Dude, that means more than you can fucking imagine to me and the boys here. And like you said earlier when we were texting, man, it's a marathon, not a sprint, man.
All right, we appreciate everything. If you want to stay on the phone once we close out, but if you want to give one last shameless plug so everyone can go find out who you are, here's your time.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Magic Carpet. I am the MC who was given a carpet and a guitar at a bus stop, and it changed my life forever. You can check out my stuff at MC and the Magic Carpet. That's at MC and the Magic Carpet. I've got a new song out called Needle Drop that's available on Apple Music, Spotify, and wherever music is streamed or sold. And you can also check out MCTV. That's MCTV, and that's on IGTV and YouTube.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. We out.
I am your big brother. What do I have to say to the kids? Well, it goes something like this.
When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip at the top. Yeah. When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip at the top. Yeah.
I'm the MC that was born and raised from the ski, then reborn and re-raised in Tennessee, so I could put the TN in TNT. You feeling me? I got a leg up on you rappers. I'm like a centipede. It feels like centuries that I've had these rhymes on my brain, so I open up a kennel. Whoop, that's on a track. I'm Captain Insane. No, pay no attention to the critics. Did I mention I'm put on a clinic like a Mayo, and I'm only whack if I say so. I rap for euros, dollar bills, and pesos. Venmo transactions, Cash App, whatever else the hell happens when I get to snapping. I rap for oranges, blues, pinks, and greens, cause if you good at anything, you shouldn't do it for free.
I spent $1 million bars for cigarettes and some change, and it's strange, y'all ain't even heard me yet.
I said, I got bars, you wanted a Percocet. Now I want you rappers to quit. So here's a Nicorette, bet you ain't heard a real. Oh, but here's your chance. I said I'm half Muskegon and I'm half Nasty Nash, half white, and I'm half Kiss My Ass. And if you're feeling this shit, I'ma have you raise your glass.
When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip at the top. Yeah. When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip at the top. Yeah.
This feels so past due. I've been trying to make a song you would shake your ass to, but if this shit is not it, then nobody fucking asked you. I ain't stopping, girl. And if your head is bobbing, then give me that wobble-dee wop wop wobble. Ooh, when I'm headed downtown, I could've sworn I hit the lotto. Said she worked for the state, but I could've sworn she was a model. Had me all gassed up with her hands on my throttle. This MC would give you the D like I'm Ronald McDonald. Nah.
Shake your money maker like somebody about to pay ya.
Cause it is mine, I'm feeling alright. I said
shake your money maker like somebody about to pay ya.
Shake it like you want that paper.
When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip of the top. Yeah, 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 yeah. When the needle drops, but please don't stop. I wanna ride this magic carpet up to the tip of the top. Yeah, yeah.